Wow. It wasn't that bad today.
Yeah. All right.
So choking myself through my goddamn headphones. Fuck.
All right.
That's weird.
Everyone's good.
Yup.
Live stream is up, so I will go to Twitter and post that we are live.
We mute my TV. Hold on.
Mute your GTA cycling.
Your GTA legal farming XP scheme.
People were shit talking each other.
About to get my second shipment of rowdies. I'm hype.
I'm excited. Did Will ever say he was going to show up or not?
He's not coming. He's going to bed like right now. He apparently didn't sleep last night
That's
because
smart.
of
Isn't he in engineering?
yeah, he's in petroleum engineering. But
That'll do
apparently he was doing some coding hackathon all weekend, being a nerd and stuff.
All right, let's start. Let's rock and roll.
His petroleum engineering makes my psychology major look like child's play.
His petroleum engineering makes your
Hey, look,
psychology it look like my sports management.
Bro, I got a business degree. He'll mine my own.
I got
I'll
so
fucking
many
sell
friends
shit.
that are in Parks and Rec or
Wildlife and fisheries.
Yeah, and they do absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
The craziest degree I think is electrical engineering. I was a math tutor in college, and the electrical engineers would come in, and I'd be like, "I can't help you, dude. I'm sorry. I got nothing."
Be like, look, this is above my pay grade.
Dude, it'd be like some guy at my job got an oceanography degree, and he works at a freaking
Sounds
retail
kind of
store.
lit.
Well, it is lit, except it doesn't pay at all because he literally gets paid more at the grocery store than what he would go into. So he's
Why would he do that as his major then? For the passion.
I don't know, man.
Everyone go repost.
Excuse me.
And then once I have seen you all have reposted, we'll start. Not starting until
How
Blake
am I doing
retweets
on
it.
the poll? I'm getting
If you do not join, I am in your walls.
bro.
If you do not join, I am in your walls.
I am in
fucked, bro.
your mind.
I am literally under your skin.
Yeah, I'm in your skin.
Oh.
Hey, Jake, how
Panama game on the side.
Yeah, Joey was just watching it. Jake, how does it feel? How do your clothes feel on your body right now? They feel good?
Yeah.
How's it feel?
Maybe in about 30 minutes, they're not going to feel so good.
How's it feel blinking every 3 seconds or, feeling your socks?
The ants are under my skin. Yeah, I'm just to let you know. The bugs are there. And it may or may not because of this, but
All right, let's rock and roll.
All right. Sorry, I was posting. If you don't join, I will crawl under your skin.
Disgusting.
All right.
Oh God.
OBS is recording.
Okay.
We're live. We've been live for 4 minutes. I know when to cut it. All right. In 5, in 4. Motherfuckers want to mute yourselves. Politely. All right. In 5, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pizzas Here podcast, your home for all news and content surrounding the Washington Capitals of the NHL. Today, we are joined by another special guest, Blake Allen, also known as Stat Guy Blake, our boy from over there at Chirpin DMV, another great Caps podcast. Go give them a listen if you haven't before. Blake is on for the second time this season with us today. Blake, how's it going, man?
Doing pretty well. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm great. Joey and Jake are with us today. Will is not. Will was awake all weekend doing a coding hackathon, being the intelligent guy he is. So he's not with us today. But yeah. So Blake, if you guys don't know, is pretty savvy with advanced analytics and stats and stuff like that. He's a lot smarter than us. So yeah. So my first question for you today is, we all have our hopes and expectations going into the season, but who are a couple players that have really impressed you this year or have done much better than what you were expecting?
So Mantha was as good as I had hoped. He's everything I've ever dreamed of. Kuznetsov, obviously the revenge tour is undeniable. His advanced analytics just on the surface don't look that great, but the reality is because he plays almost all of his time with Ovechkin, whose defense has gone to hell. So considering his line mate, he's actually doing really well. I'm trying to. Irwin has had a sneaky good analytics season. Weirdly, he hasn't gotten a lot of time, but he's up in the good quadrant of the graph. So, yeah.
So, are there any players who have disappointed you this season or have been poor analytically compared to what you were expecting them to be?
Yeah, Lars Eller has been a problem, and he looks like a problem too. Like just the dumb turnovers in the defensive zone. He's been a black hole on offense. Like he's been my number one. Oh my goodness, this is a problem. Kempney also, like the heroes from 2018 had just fallen off a cliff.
What about Carlson? I was kind of wondering about Carlson. I mean, I know his point. He has a lot of points, but like analytically,
he's actually been decent this year. Again, he's kind of got Kuznetsov syndrome if he plays a lot with Ovechkin. So he, there's a lot of bad defensive numbers there, but it's okay because the three of them all get so many points that like you kind of worry less about advanced analytics when you're putting up a ton of points.
Yeah, who gives a shit? They score goals. So since the start of the season, the Capitals have obviously started a certain way, but has anybody improved analytically so far?
Yeah, McMichael, especially in the last few games, he was kind of, his analytics were fine earlier. He was, hovering. He would go back and forth across the 50% line, and then just the last 10 games or so, he's been firmly planted in that good corner. He was having Hagelin levels of bad luck for a while there. He was like, I think of the everyday players at one point, only Hagelin had a worse goal scored above expected. So he could not find the net. And then I really think that that own goal in Columbus that counted for him really got him going, because I think he has 3 goals since then or something like that, right? So yeah, he has definitely improved, especially shown a sharp improvement as of late. On the flip side, Faravari started out really good analytically, and then just as the season has gone on, he's just been tanking. And I think he just wasn't ready to be a first line defender, especially with, meaning who he gets to play with in terms of their defensive abilities, being he's mostly playing with Carlson and Ovechkin and Kuznetsov. And I just don't think he is ready to handle that level of responsibility.
Don't sugarcoat it. He's playing with a forward on defense.
Yeah.
So since the earlier parts of the season, who are a couple Capitals that have really declined analytically, who, started off looking good and you thought maybe this is a good year for them, but have, dropped since then?
Yeah. As I mentioned, Faravari, he started out really, it looked like he was carrying Carlson, and now it's just he just looks lost out there. Sprong started out really good, but his defense wasn't great, but it wasn't so terrible. And then it just plummeted, and then he stopped playing, and then he stopped scoring when he did play, and then he got traded. So that was, I mean, that like watching him just take a nosedive. I was like, that dude's getting traded. I mean, he's not getting minutes, and he's, the minutes he is getting, he's just constantly hemmed in his own zone. And then when he finally breaks through, he's, shooting wide, missing the net, not getting bounces, stuff like that. Like that was honestly painful to watch. The just sheer nosedive his season took.
Do you think it's maybe a case of like it's just the workload is starting to get to him, or is it a case of like it's just he's younger than, like, he's not really used to the everyday, like, this is his first full season of like hockey in North America, probably, period, so it's probably hard on him.
I think he has a little bit of Ovechkin in him, and that he's just a finisher, and he can't play defense at all. And then, so like last season, I was looking at his shooting percentage. Last season, it was a 19% shooting percentage, which is just utterly unsustainable. That was never going to keep up. So when his shooting percentage inevitably plummeted, then he was just allowing goals and not scoring them. So it's kind of like, what are we doing here? And that's part of what was, the plummeting. And so I think his luck, or his finishing ability kind of coming back to earth, is what precipitated all of that.
Which Caps player do you feel is the most underappreciated or most wrongfully hated on? Because we like to hate on a lot of players.
Anthony Mantha, analytics king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Anthony Mantha, just regular king. What the fuck are you talking about?
Seriously. People don't hate Mantha because he's a bad player. They just hate him because we lost Vrana, and like every time he does something good, they're like, fine, he's good, but I still hate him. And I'm like, all right,
we won that trade.
Yeah, we really did.
We won the trade. Sorry if that offends you.
Hey, keep in mind, in Capitals games this season, Anthony Mantha hasn't lost 11-2. Jacob Vrana has. I don't want to hear it.
So,
not to mention, Mantha actually forechecks and plays defense.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Underappreciated. I think John Carlson gets a lot of unfair hate. As I said, he's,
It's not all unfair.
No. There's a lot of fair criticism of John Carlson. I think a lot of times it goes way too far. Like, he's terrible. He's good at what he's good at, and he's not great at playing defense.
I think he's at least like serviceable defensively. Like, we can play him defensively those minutes because he's used to it, and he's not terrible. Like, he's not going to go out there and give away like 6 pucks a night. But like the best thing is, like, if he doesn't score,
like 4 or 5.
Usually if he doesn't score, that's when shit gets bad. Is because everybody's like, oh fuck, he's not scoring. What's the point of having him on $8 million a year?
Do you think he's worth the contract that he's getting paid right now?
That's a different question.
Yeah, because I feel
I
like
don't.
he's
I don't know
starting
if he is or isn't. It's definitely close. I'm honestly 50-50 as to whether or not he's worth the contract. USA just almost scored. He's. How do I say this? You can. A lot of the hate he gets is unfair in the just sheer amount of hate he gets. I don't know if I'd say he's worth $8 million, but he's worth multiple million. He's putting up a lot of points. He always puts up a lot of points. He's the best in the league at keeping the puck in the zone on power plays, which is crucial, especially considering his D partner on the power play, Alex Ovechkin, is the worst in the league at keeping the puck in the zone. He's the best in the league at putting it in the net, but in terms of keeping it on the right side of the blue line, it's terrible. So it's good to have somebody that can keep it in to balance it. there's a lot of things he does right. So if he was even at $6 million, I would 100% say he's worth it.
I don't think his contract is like arguably the worst. It's not even like bad. I think it's just like, he makes a little too much because he doesn't play enough on one side of the puck. But like when you look at some defenseman contracts in the league, like if you look at some shit that like fucking San Jose is handing out, like shit, they're handing out 11 million.
It's not as bad as Brent Burns or Drew Doughty's.
Well, I mean, like that's the point. Is like if you look at this and say the fact that we got him at $8 million for what he does for our team and how he's done, like honestly, the fact that we got him at $8 million is kind of a steal considering Carlson, even after all his injuries and after everything that happened, got $11 million a year playing at San Jose is like nuts.
The difference is that we're a competitive playoff team. Neither San Jose.
The Sharks literally went to this conference final the year before they signed him.
Yeah, I'm talking about right now. Neither of those teams are competitive compared to us.
Well, still, they were competitive when they signed him, thinking he would still be good, and
but we're also not paying the 11 mil that they're paying. We're only paying 8 mil.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I think it's
like that's a cause for lack of competitiveness is paying guys who are that old and declining, obviously, in their play 11.
Well, they paid him the contract because he was a part of the team making the conference final. That argument doesn't really work because they made the conference final with him being a huge part of that, and they were paying him that money because he's Erik Karlsson to them. And like, yeah, it was a stupid contract to give, but like, shit, I mean, you're not going to pay him after trading 2 first-round picks for him. Like,
well, like, I mean, we're going to have a similar conversation with Ovi in 4 years. Like, he's not going to be scoring 50 goals in 5 years.
I think he's going to know to take a pay cut. I don't think he would play anywhere else at that point because like this was the year I was like he may not take a pay cut and may go somewhere else, but like it's possible that Ovi. Oh, because he took a pay cut this year. He was going to take like 12 million before everything happened, and then he took 9.5.
Yeah,
and I think we'll take another pay cut probably.
Ooh, only 9.5 million a year.
But I mean, like about this contract, he's not going to be worth 9.5 million in 5 years. Like that's just a fact that you have to accept that when you want the greatest goal scorer of all time to play his entire career with your team. But that's going to happen. We're going to be like, this dude's not worth 9.5 million.
Backstrom's making more than him right now.
Backstrom's making what?
Backstrom's making more right now. He's making 11.5 a year.
Crazy to me.
I mean, shit. He's played really well. Like he's finally looked like he's back to being old Backstrom again.
Backstrom is not playing at an 11 mil contract.
Shit, man. You're asking someone to be like you're asking to be prime Backstrom.
If you're making really 11 mil, you should be prime.
He's 35. Yeah.
You shouldn't be making 11 mil. Exactly. So he shouldn't be making 11 million.
Yeah.
We paid him a bit more.
We overpaid him that much money unless they're producing that money's worth. It's as simple as that. Obviously,
if we're going to start complaining about contracts, like
obviously he means so much to our team that he's like get paid that much. That's why he's not getting paid that because he's producing it that.
Like people will get mad at Carl's contract and somewhat Ovi's contract, but both of them have played at least serviceable to the contract, at least up to it this season, including when Carlson's out. He's only got like 2 or 3 years left on it anyways. It's not like by the time he gets that, it'll probably be like about like 2/3 of what he was, but at that point it'll be like we'll have other options and better places to put that money into. And Ovi, same thing, by the time he gets to that last $9 million we have to pay, I mean, shit, he'll probably still be a 30 goal scorer. And honestly, considering what he brings to the team, I'm perfectly fine. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm paying this man like $200 million if he needs to come win to take the goal record. I don't care. Whatever he wants, he can have my house. I don't give a shit. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. Joey, you had next question, right?
I think I had other players. Who else? Who did I bring up that was on Friday? Because I had at least one other.
You brought up Karlsson.
The one that receives the most unfair hate. Obviously, there's some that is warranted, but some of it's not. Yeah, I think for the more underappreciated part of the question, I think Orlov is definitely in that conversation.
Oh yeah,
like the one overtime shift he had last week. What game was that?
That was unreal.
I don't remember what game that was, but that was like
Hurricanes.
We didn't even score in overtime. We ended up winning in the shootout. And, speak of that, Ovi's put the dagger in for 2 straight shootouts. That's awesome. Yeah. He's someone who's not known as a shootout guy. But that first game that we won the shootout, the first one, whoever that was against. But like Orlov had the shift of his life in that.
That was against Carolina. I think that was against Carolina.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So Orlov had like the shift of his life. I remember Aho was actually doing really well in that overtime, but Orlov was playing insane. And just as a team, that was probably our best overtime I've seen in a long time. Granted, we didn't score in it, but we held the puck for like
we damn near did.
4 minutes and 30 seconds out of the 5 minutes of overtime. It was awesome. And then obviously we got the win in the shootout, so that puts the icing on the cupcake. But
yeah,
I definitely think Orlov is in the conversation, if not.
I agree. He's so solid defensively, but he knows exactly when to come up and strike. Like you never see it coming, and then just all of a sudden, just Orlov put that in the back of the net. What? He's so savvy defensively, which enables Jensen to kind of fudge around a little bit with how good of a skater he is, to kind of take some risks, be up in the play. Like a lot of the times when you watch those two on the ice, you'll see Jensen below the hash like pretty frequently because he knows that Orlov has his back. Like he knows nothing's going to go wrong because of how savvy Orlov is.
Yeah, I agree.
100%. Well, during this win streak or this month of incredibly awesome play by the Capitals, one key player has pretty much stood out, and that's Vitek Vanacek, our goaltender, who has now decided to finally wake up from his injury nap and be an absolute god. Do you see this affecting the goaltender battle? Like, what's your thought of it right now? Like, what do you think down this last month are we going to see from Vitek and Samsonov? Because obviously we're sticking with them, and this is our goaltending duo heading into the playoffs.
As long as he doesn't like tear his groin in the next 2 weeks, he's got to be
nice. Man, why the hell would you say that?
As long as Jake DeBrusk doesn't just shoot a puck like overwhelmingly like far past him and he just gets fucked up, like that'd be nice. Like I still to this day, USA scored, cool. It's Pulisic! Oh my god, a hat trick!
Hattie for Pulisic.
What a goal too!
Wow, my stream is way behind yours too.
It was beautiful, but yeah, I think.
Yes, the Caps are good,
The Caps are good. Hey, look, we got to talk about goal scorers, and Trish Pulisic got 3. I think the most interesting thing about that was like the way he was playing, like down the stretch last season. Vitek was actually playing really well. Like he had found his groove again, and then in the playoffs, I was like, you know what, Vitek Vanacek, let's see what we got in this kid. Game 1 was looking good. Jake DeBrusk shot that puck, and I wanted to die because that was like that. Like the second he got hurt, I was like, "Oh, it's Craig Anderson."
You're telling me Craig Anderson isn't the best playoff performer in Caps history?
He has a good winning percentage. I'm not gonna lie, he's 1-1. But he actually played really well in Game 2. Actually, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I think the best thing about
I remember being very impressed with how well he did. Compared to what we would have expected.
Yeah. So with Vanacek, so kind of coming into the season. The kind of the difference between the two goalies was kind of like Vanacek he's got a little bit of Holtby in him, and that he's super good at positioning. So you don't see him flail around as much because he's so solid positionally. But then Samsonov can stop any puck from anywhere because he's just that athletic. And I feel like I've seen a lot more. I've seen Vanacek sort of become more athletic in the last couple of months. Like you see him making saves where before that would have just gone in on Vanacek. And Samsonov might have saved it. Whereas, but now you see him like I've seen him just diving across the net and stuff like that. He didn't use those. So he
had one where he dove across and saved it with his stick.
Yeah. So he's becoming more of the complete package of that, both really good positionally, and then when shit happens, he can dive and make scorpion saves and fling himself across the net as needed. So I think that's really contributed to how hot he's been, and I really hope that this continues into the playoffs because he's just been unstoppable.
Shout out to the Caps team trainers who have been getting him more flexible and athletic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I just think the interesting thing is like down the stretch, you're going to see Samsonov get put in the games, and like it's just so weird because like the Buffalo game, you look at it, it was like he allowed 3 goals or some shit, and it was like on 23 shots, and I was like, that's bad. But like, yeah, the Capitals do a great job now, and they seem to have gotten back into that rhythm of like, hey, like we're going to be a really good, decent defensive team and shut down stuff which is good because they're defensively, they're playing a lot better. They've been stopping a lot of like teams from getting like 30 shots a game, which has been really nice.
Yeah.
But like also it kind of doesn't help because it's like the goaltenders are like, it's hard to know who is really going to be hot the second we step into the playoffs, which obviously I'm not saying we're going to be in the playoffs, but I mean, shit, if we miss the playoffs, somebody's getting fired. So like we're how many points ahead of Columbus? Like 13, 15, something
We're
like that.
16.
Yeah. And I think this whole month, like it's nice to just see VTech get hot. And like, it all came down to like at the beginning of the month, like we don't know what to do about depth. Goaltender's a question mark. We're literally falling in the standings and like playoffs are basically like up in the air. And now all of a sudden it's like goaltending seems okay. Our depth has been fixed with trades and Mantha coming back and like we're secured in the playoffs. Also Paul Bissonnette, you can like choke, buddy. Like you want to just take your time out of your own like press job to talk shit about the Capitals. Like you're some cool asshole. You're only relevant because Barstool did. You have like 10 career goals. I could step into a fucking skates and in about a year outscore you in my career. Like, shave your head too. You look disgusting with that haircut.
I've seen
Tell
you.
us how you really feel about Paul Bissonnette.
No, today during the NHL Tonight, NHL whatever thing on TNT, he decided to take it out of his way to not only one time say the Capitals aren't legit, but when he interviewed Marc-Andre Fleury, he decided to talk more shit and be like, "Oh, it's like I think they're not competitive." Like, dude, what did we do to you? Did we not tender you a contract because you were trash or something? Like, God, grow up.
Yeah.
I mean, that is kind of his job.
Just to be annoying.
What, to be a smartass?
To have opinions on hockey teams.
It's more about not having an opinion, but like he tried to like drill it in everybody's head. Like he was fighting people about it. Like he was mad that Caps fans did something to him. Like, Jesus Christ.
He was saying 7 of the East teams were contenders except the Caps, basically.
Except the Caps. And
Okay, well, then that's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, because he said the Maple. He said the Maple.
He literally said the Maple Leafs are good.
He said the Maple Leafs still are
Montreal.
instead of the Caps.
They lost to Montreal. It's like, even though we lost to Montreal, I'm like, bro, at least we haven't lost to Montreal this fucking season. Like, come on now. Have a brain, Bissonnette.
Yeah.
We did see that Fleury did say, though, that
he was
around the talks of going to the Caps, he said it didn't feel right.
That's fine. I don't really.
VTech's playing Vezina right now.
I need more. I hate that team. I will never play.
He didn't like say them like they were shit. He was just like, yeah, he's like they're a good team, but like it just felt like it was really weird to like go there.
Yeah, weird flex, buddy. Being loyal to the team that shipped you away to Vegas.
He would still be the starter on that team. That's the crazy thing. They made the wrong choice letting Fleury walk. That's the crazy thing. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Yeah, you take over.
So, obviously, we've seen – I don't know. There's been like something like 15 rookies that have scored their first career goals for us this year. Obviously, if you had said that to one of us last year, as, we were the Zdeno Chara-led nursing home team of 50-year-olds, you would have never thought that we'd be seeing so much action from young guys on the roster. But obviously we've seen a lot. So which of the young Capitals, forwards such as Connor McMichael, Hendrix Lapierre, Protis, or Snively, or, any other guys in the handful, who do you think out of them has the brightest future? And also, are there any other guys, young guys in Hershey that you think are under the radar or people don't really have their eye on as much, but you think that there could be something good from them coming?
Yeah, I've liked McMichael's game. I do think people want to give him more ice time than he's ready for. I think there's a lot of people who want to just like, why isn't he getting 15 minutes a night or 20 minutes a night? I'm like, guys, that's gonna ruin him. Don't just throw him to the wolves. But I do think he's ready to be an everyday player, and I think in the next year or two, he'll be in that 15, 20 minutes a night role. Leeson was good. I liked his game. Snively, obviously, sucks that he got hurt right when he was like he was on like a point streak when he got hurt, right? So that really sucks that we lost him. He would be a really good. I don't know if I'd start him in the playoffs, but he'd be a really, really solid 13th guy for the playoffs. So hopefully he'll be back.
Yo, this is
Hadley
actually
Light.
isn't a question. But I wanted to like see this. Like right now, obviously, like the top 6, you've got Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, like whoever like a mix of Wilson, Oshie, and then like the Mantha, Backstrom, mix of Wilson, Oshie on the top 6.
Right.
Like then you have Sheary, McMichael, and Johansson, I would think, unless they're gonna like throw Johansson in the top 6, which they've done.
Just names the entire lineup.
Well, I'm trying to say, like, you know, the depth is now becoming a close. Like, Dowd and Hathaway are there, but, like, who are you slotting in at the 13th, like, 12th position? I mean, obviously, Larson has to be in consideration because we fucking traded for him. Like, you see Larson go to the 3rd line, Johansson go to the 4th. Like, what do you see
Can he answer the first questions I asked him first?
Yeah,
let's
let's get to that in a minute.
All right.
Plus, our last question is about the lineup, so I mean, he's going to answer that.
I would drop Ferravari's minutes. I would flip him and Van Riemsdyk or him and Orlov for the playoffs. I would do it now so that we can get some chemistry going. Because he's just not ready to handle it. I mean, he's going to be a liability in the playoffs, you know. I actually don't hate him and Schultz together. They haven't gotten a ton of minutes together, but it's actually been like decent. It's still like, you know, below league average, but for a third pairing, okay. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't so bad as to be like, you know, and that's putting someone with better defensive skills with John Carlson to kind of match, you know, complement Carlson's abilities. I've liked Janssen Fialbi. Some people don't, but he's been haggling light in all the best ways.
I like him.
He's also been haggling light in the bad ways, but you know, just don't. I don't want to see him on any more 2-on-1s, but I like him in the D zone. So yeah. And I honestly don't know. I don't keep it up enough with Hershey to tell you about the second half of that question. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good answer.
Which of the Caps D pairings have been the best lately?
Orlov Jensen is perennially just S tier. Like you can always count on Orlov and Jensen to play well. Jensen has had a few brain farts lately where it's kind of like, what the hell are you doing? But like nothing that I'm super worried about. Especially considering he's playing with Orlov, so Orlov's pretty much always going to cover up his mistakes.
Plus, he's so handsome.
What mistakes? Jensen's the goddamn Norris winner.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, he's really handsome.
Oh yeah, everybody loves Nick Jensen.
He's a good-looking dude.
What about So the bottom pairing? What do you think about that? Like, do you think TVR Schultz is good to go for the playoffs, possibly?
Well, because I want, Ferravari off the first pairing. So there's two ways. Because Orlov Carlson is really good, but then you're taking Orlov away from Jensen. So it's kind of like who do you want more getting the benefit of Orlov? So if you prefer Orlov Jensen, which I know a lot of people do.
Orlov.
If we could have two Dmitry Orlovs, that would really be the solution. Just clone Dmitry Orlov and have one of them play with Carlson and one of them play with Jensen and then have TVR Schultz. That's the real way to go. But since we can't do that, I would say either TVR or Orlov playing with Carlson and then put Ferravari with Schultz and just give them negligible minutes. That would probably be the way to go.
Yeah, I also like the fact that like Laviolette's like tied him to Michael Kempney right now is starting to frustrate me because this dude is a liability and like
he's taking so many penalty like every time he takes a penalty, I update that tweet where I just take the screenshot of his penalties per 60 this season, and oh my gosh, he's above 4. Like
I don't get it. Like I feel like even without the penalties, like he's not doing it anywhere near as well. Like Matt Irwin, when I've seen him play, like he doesn't score, but I'm not fucking asking Matt Irwin to score a goal. I'm asking Matt Irwin to play defense.
He's got a really cute little son.
Matt Irwin Jr. is awesome, but like
the
his
one
dad
CAPS practice that I went to over winter break, him and his son, who's like a little squirt, they were playing on the ice after practice, and that was really cute.
Yeah, I would take Irwin over Kempney every day.
Plus, he's got a future.
Yeah, he's been decent. I mean, you don't put him on the top pairing or anything crazy like that, but like he's been fine. Why are we playing Kempney over him at this point? Especially after, like, at least give him another look. Like, maybe he plays bad, but Kempney is going to play bad. You already know
I'd be down for Alexei at this point. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, find somebody who's willing to give this shit.
If you ask me, I say we break the bank for Moritz Seider. I think that would solve all of our
We'd
problems.
have to trade literally every single one of our valuable defensive prospects and then probably trade Jensen or Orlov to get him. You know that, right?
I'm fine with that.
You're fine with trading Orlov for Seider.
For Seider?
Yeah.
Are you cooked?
No, bro. Orlov's our best fucking
Seider
defenseman.
now is better than Dimitri.
Orlov's our best fucking defenseman. I said Orlov, not Jensen.
Yeah, still.
Orlov is literally one of the
Moritz
most
Seider's like
sound two-way defensemen.
Moritz Seider's like 19 or 20, and he's better than Dimitri Orlov now.
That's cap. Okay.
He
plays a lot of
I'm
minutes.
looking at his team.
What?
That's not true.
Yeah.
Maybe he has a higher upside than his
Yeah, like I'd rather take a guy on a good contract,
Give
good
Moritz
setup.
Seider like a year or two, and he's a top 3 defenseman in the NHL.
Dude.
Sure, maybe, but that doesn't help us right now. Also, the trade deadline is passed, so like
We can't do shit about it now, yeah. We're kind of
I'll
fucking.
make a veto.
We should have traded for a depth defenseman though, considering the fact that like I think maybe go for like a low value, like not Michael Kempney, like think Jacob Jarabek, like think that kind of trade. Like we don't need a Kempney trade to like slide in the top 6. We need a guy who's like, look, we're losing people to injuries. You're able to go in there, play like 13 minutes and not like suck. Can you just go do that? I don't need you to score. I need you to just stop everything.
Are
Like
there
that's
any
the kind of thing.
notable defensemen
See,
that'll
here's
be
the thing: is that we have Irwin, but he won't play Irwin. So I was very on team trade for depth defenseman. I still probably would have, but also I didn't really pay much attention like how like Irwin's analytics are actually really good. So like, why not just play Irwin? Why are we playing Kempney over him?
I don't care.
Yeah.
Schultz.
Doesn't make sense.
That's true. All right. Well, speaking of Michael Kempney and his apparently nailed spot to the 7th defense with the Capitals, Laviolette's been making some very interesting decisions. A lot of it due to injuries, but a lot of interesting decisions with the lineup. Kind of piggyback off what the question I was trying to ask. I didn't realize this question was very similar to this one. That's my bad. I kind of read it and read it. Don't fucking give me that face, EA. Basically, do you see the line combinations being similar to what it's like when it's fully healthy? Do you see anybody maybe sliding in? And obviously, what about Larson and Johansson? Where do you see they fit when the season ends? Like, where are they going to be at?
So,
or is it Johansson? Or like, how do I say it now? Because they said they changed it.
It's always been Johansson.
Johansson. Okay.
It's always been his nickname should be Mo-Yo, but that doesn't sound as cool.
I
Yeah,
would
it's always been
go.
Yo.
If I were the coach, I would go Ovi Kuzi Mantha. Can't Oshie play left?
He could play either side. He's done it before.
Yeah. I would go Oshie Backstrom Wilson. And then Larson McMichael Sherry or Sherry McMichael Larson, however make the handedness work. And then I'd go AJF Dowd Hathaway, I think.
Give Eller the boot.
Yeah, I'd sit Eller.
What about Johansson? You didn't get it? Did he get in there?
You
Do you think Johansson would stay in over AJF at this point, considering AJF is a little bit like, you know?
Yeah, I might put Johansson in AJF's spot.
Like I personally do love AJF, and I think next year
Johansson defensively.
he's good. Not terrible.
His analytics aren't great, but
Doesn't fit Joey's narrative. Sorry.
Sounds like a wrong opinion. Hold on, Blake. Let me go ahead and mute you real quick so I can talk about the good word of Marcus Johansson. No, but I think it's tough because AJF played so well, and it's like shit. He's got to get in at some point. Like we got to let this young kid fly because, like, I feel like without this Joe Snively injury, I don't think we go out and get someone like Johansson. I think Larson might be the move, but like Johansson's it because then it's like you can fit in Snively and Larson in the third line, and then there's no other worries because Hagelin's injured and he's not probably coming back this year because it's an eye injury. Those are fun.
I have a feeling he might be done overall. Like that's pure speculation on my part, but I think
if he retires, do we have to pay him?
Do we have to pay him even if
that's a fucked up thing to say? I shouldn't care about that. I need to care about his health first.
Isn't his contract up after this year?
No, it's next season.
So
is Jensen's. They both Jensen's is up next year, and he's gonna want like $6 million a year now.
Yeah,
that'll be fun. But yeah, I think I agree with you. I think Larson needs to be on the third line. I think McMichael and Sheary could like do some pretty crazy shit, and then you could actually still give like the faith. Like, I hate to say this, but Eller's just kind of not be in the lineup. Unfortunately,
that's what's so brutal is they're not going to take him out, but he's playing so badly.
And you want to know the sad thing is what's likely going to happen is they're likely going to keep Eller on the third line. They're going to put Dowd, Hathaway, and Larson on this fourth line. The third line will be Eller, Johansson, Sheary, and our favorite son McMichael will probably be sitting.
Yeah, that's what I think is that. I was going to get to. So here's what I would do, and then here's what I think they're going to. I think what you just described what they're going to do. I also think they're going to keep Mantha, Backstrom, Oshie together, which is fine. They're a really good line, but I really, 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 really need somebody to do a better job of balancing out Ovechkin's bad defense than Wilson has been doing. Wilson is good defensively, but he's not good enough to account for just how controller disconnect OV is in the defensive zone.
I would almost say that you would probably workshop Backstrom and Ovechkin coming back together and then having Wilson on that line. Because that line is like, whenever I see that line always works out pretty well. Like that line generally does good things because obviously with the chemistry of Ovechkin and Backstrom, they're always going to know where each other there are and they know how to play with each other. And then Wilson, whenever he plays with them, like that was the line that like was like part of the cup win. That was shit was going off. Like that was incredible.
Yeah,
and, like,
I am a big fan of the OV Backstrom Wilson line. Backstrom has definitely taken a little bit of a step back, and I don't know if it'll work out this time. As much as I love 819, if we're gonna do 819, we might do OV on the second line, but that's blasphemy. So,
You can't at this point. I mean, I think like you can almost say that the top six is gonna like share minutes, like Ovechkin, and the top one might get a little bit more, but like I don't think it's a case of like they're like the top line per se. I think once you get to the playoffs, it's like you really care about minutes more.
That's true. Yeah, the top six is kind of fluid for us in practice. Like I know it's very strict in terms of like who gets put on which line when they announce the lines, but like in terms of actual playing time, like it's a little bit more fluid than that.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, but that's really interesting. I don't know, is there any other players that like we forgot that should be I mean Hagelin, but he's probably done. So that's it. All right, rock and roll, CA.
So the past week, and the whole month of March. I said the month of March. The whole month of March, and obviously the past week have been pretty good to us. But Tuesday we lost to the Blues 5-2 at home. Then on Friday we beat the Sabres in a shootout. Sorry, America's team, but we beat them in a shootout 4-3 on Friday. Then last night we beat the Devils 4-3 at home. So obviously, we've seen people uprooting and sprouting and blossoming into the players that we all wanted them to be. Obviously, Mantha's been exceptional since coming back. Obviously, other people like Vitek, and obviously, I mean, OV again are stepping up, so that's always nice. But let's do a 1-1. So one player that's impressed us over the past week, and one player that has disappointed us. Blake, you can go first.
And Jake's going second, so he doesn't get stolen.
Jake. We haven't made picks yet. I'm just apologizing in advance.
I'm gonna bitch out and take Ovi as player that has impressed me. I'm the guest. I get to bitch out. Take the easy way out. Yeah, so Ovi's impressed me. As I kind of alluded to on Twitter last night, I totally forgot on my Ovi tracker that I had a 7-game buffer for injuries and COVID, which is obviously really not necessary at this point. So I currently have him at 60% chance to hit 50 goals, which is good. Love to see that. So so loving Ovi's play. Down again, I'm going to take the easy answer and say Kempney, because that dude cannot stop taking penalties.
All right, Jake, you got one? You're up.
Yeah.
Did you say 50 goals? You said 50?
You just say
50.
You just say Rocket Richard?
Did you just say?
I did not say Rocket Richard.
Did you just say 50? No, I guess Jake.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that
I'm
tie him
going.
for the record of 50 goal seasons? I think
That would
put him
break
at
the
9, which is
record. That would break the record. He's tied with Gretzky, I think, right now.
Go ahead, Jake. And
I thought he was one short because of the COVID season.
we've also made a change since sometimes it's hard to pick between people we're mad at, because like I would have said Kempney.
I was gonna say Kempney too.
Like so in situations like this, you can say another aspect of our team's game the past week that's pissed you off or disappointed you. Like, so like, for example, the power play sucked, or for example, the penalty kill sucked, etc. So that's always there. Go ahead, Jake.
All right, I'll go. I'm gonna say Jensen. Oh, I was between two people, and but I'm gonna say Jensen. I think he's been playing. He's been playing well. I feel like all season, but
He is our best player. So.
Yeah, he's been our best one of our best defensemen this entire season. So,
What? I went blurry for a minute there.
Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
player
that
that
like when you move, it's weird.
Player that I dislike or thing that I dislike. See, I feel like what we've been like bad at, we've been average at like the last couple stretch of games. So I can't say we've really been bad at anything. Like, I don't think so I really want to shit on Kempney though.
You can shit on Kempney if you
I
want.
would love, because we did this before with Hagelin, where he was playing so bad for like that stretch. So we just said I'm gonna say
you're
Kempney
left
though.
with no other choice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying Kempney too. I mean, why didn't we? I mean, I don't think any team probably would have taken him, but man.
All right, I'll go.
Yeah.
My good player, I'm going to say Mantha, because he deserves the love and all the cherishment of the world. I don't think we can genuinely like describe how much of a different team this team has looked since he came back. Like, genuinely, I think the whole season, one of our biggest issues was our top six was just riddled with injuries. Our whole second line at some point was on the IR this year. Like, that is not good to have. Hell, our top line at some point, every single one of them missed time, including Ovechkin. And to see them back, and like Oshie's back now too, and like everything's starting to get better. Like, Oshie played well last night. It's great to see that the team with one of their best players analytically and just eye test sound with Mantha is great. Mantha's pretty awesome, and I love him, and I think he's great. And I want him to win a cup with this team, because he had to be in Detroit for bad years, and he doesn't deserve that.
He's like the Matthew Stafford. He had to live in Detroit for
exactly. This is not fair. He deserves a cup.
Now he comes and gets a cup.
And we trade first-round picks for him.
You heard it here first.
Stafford. My bad player, I'm going to say this because I really just am like, I know, like, I don't expect him to be a high goal scorer, and the fourth line is not a per team line. You're supposed to like be like, oh, I don't score, but like, I'm really starting to get confused at what Hathaway's purpose is. Like, he's played well and fine, but like, he's genuinely at time. You could probably chalk this up to Dow not being there, and him and Dow together are a great combination. They work really well together. They make anybody on their line play decently enough to where they're serviceable to play in the NHL, which is incredible. They make Carl Hagelin.
So he does really well and works together with his line mates, but I don't know what his purpose is.
I don't know what he does without him. It's like whatever you like. It's like whenever you take Dowd away from Hathaway, it's like, what the fuck is this dude doing? But then like you put Dowd in the lineup and he's automatically good. Like, I feel like Dowd and Hathaway work well together, which is great. And I'm glad that they're signed together. They're going to be our fourth line duo, and whoever they put in there with them is going to be great. But like, I really want Dowd to come back as soon as possible, because holy fuck, Hathaway can't do anything. he's okay hitting and like he can fight people, which is great. I mean, he takes that pressure away from Wilson, but like, I mean, shit, bro, we need 12 people who can score as forwards. And if you're not going to score, just put fucking Carlson as the 12th forward. I can't handle this shit anymore.
Yeah,
RDA.
so I think you guys missed a pretty obvious pick for the good part. So I'm going to say Nicholas Backstrom. You know, I mean, he hit 1,000 career points last week, but you know, it's still irrelevant because he had his ceremony just a couple days ago. And last night he had a goal and an assist in that game where he got his little recognition for 1,000 career points. So that was great. He was the man of the hour. A goal and an assist. The entire Capital One arena of fans threw their little souvenir apples onto the ice.
That was awesome.
The NHL gets mad that we throw things on the ice, but they're the ones giving us things to throw on the ice. So that's funny. But yeah, shout out to Backstrom for that. Congrats on 1,000 career points. We love you. Are you worth 11 mil? I don't know, but we love you.
That goal he had was fucking insane. People forget how great his shot is. His shot's probably, if Ovechkin wasn't on this team, he'd have the best shot on the team. No cap.
He's got that, like, you know how people always forget that Ovechkin can actually pass the puck? People forget Backstrom can shoot.
Yeah.
He still has the hardest OT goal of all time.
That's how you know you're an elite player in the league or in any sport. It's like you're so good at and like elite and like top 1% at one thing that like your other things that you're still really good at don't even get recognized because you're so good at that one thing.
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm not happy with, I'm going to say as a whole, this applies to our good Michael Kempney, but as a whole, I think we're taking too many penalties. Obviously, I mean, like, you could say that for any team at any given time. Oh, like, because one penalty is too many penalties, but we're taking too many. Michael Kempney's a big part of that. Laviolette, you need to stop playing him. Yeah, so our penalty kill isn't the worst, but it's also not, you know, elite by any means. So the more that we can stay off of the penalty kill, the better.
Especially without Hagelin.
Well, yeah, but just in general, I'd like to stay off the penalty kill if we don't have to. But that's that. So we made 2 trades at the trade deadline. Obviously, we brought back our boy Marcus Johansson from the Seattle Kraken. We gave them our number 10, Daniel Sprong. And we gave them like a 4th and a 6th. Irrelevant picks, but we gave them Daniel Sprong. We got Marcus Johansson back. And we traded for Larson from the Coyotes. Can't think of his first name. Sorry, but I am actually very excited to see him play because he is good defensively and
Lauren Larson's going to be so
defensive.
sick.
Good defensive forwards is something that you can never have too much of, obviously, especially when you're a team that has forwards or defensemen that are elite but don't play defense.
Imagine if like Larson, there's this kind of like a sleeper hope for me is I hope they put Larson and Johansson on the same line, and then they put Eller in between them. And then they just let that shit go to work in the playoffs.
I don't want Eller in between them, but I wouldn't.
I mean, fuck, man, it's not going to be McMichael. I'm sorry. Like, we just got to kind of throw that. McMichael's not playing in the playoffs. I'm sorry. Like, that shit's not happening. I think.
Somebody has to get hurt for McMichael to see meaningful time in the playoffs.
So, like, you know, just if
we won't wish that upon people.
The point is, The point is, well, if you have those two on the third line, I hope they try that because then you could probably see. It'd be really interesting to see how Larson and Eller and Johansson play together because I think Eller has played with Johansson before. I think that they were on the 2017 team together at one point, and I think they didn't play terribly. But I really do want to see what Larson looks like.
2017 is not much of a teller for how good people are going to be right now, though.
Hey, yeah, you want to remind yourself that team won a President's Trophy and was like,
and those people are all now 5 years older. That's my point.
The point is like. I'm just excited to see Larson play. I think Johansson, for what it's worth, hasn't looked terrible in the games. Like, honestly, like he hasn't like looked like he was lost or like holding a team back.
I still don't like having him on the top line.
I don't either. Yeah. I don't either, and I hope that changes very soon. But you know, we can't really predict what the fuck the goddamn what's it called? Peter Laviollette's thinking at this point. He's a goddamn Pandora's box. But I think the best thing is that, we didn't overpay at the deadline. And that was what I was worried about, because all these like deals of like, fucking what's his name? Ben Sherratt getting a first round pick in return. Like, are you fucking high? Like Ben Sherratt, a person whose objective is to hit and then leave. Like, that's not first round pick material. Like, I'd pay a first round pick for a guy like Arturi Lehkonen or Kale Yarncroke, who didn't even cost a first round pick for some reason.
I would give a first rounder for Kale.
Yeah, there's no shot in paying. And I give away draft picks like candy if I'm a GM at this point, but I'm not giving up a first for Kelly Yarncroke.
Yeah, no.
I think
One thing I did see that was insane, like a day or two before the deadline, was that the Coyotes had raised their asking price for Jacob Chikrin to 3 first rounders and a prospect. And I was like, so translation, he's not going anywhere.
He's not going to leave. Translation is, we'll see you boys in the summer.
Yeah.
Translation, Jacob Chikrin is staying in.
I'm surprised a guy like Phil Kessel didn't move. He was a guy I was actually thinking, or PK
I don't want
Subban.
Yeah.
Kessel.
Phil Kessel's
No.
not bad. Phil Kessel's like, I feel like if you're a team that needs like a power play specialist to really like play some third line, second line rotating minutes, I think I was almost tempted to think maybe Pittsburgh would be stupid enough to try to bring him back. That would have been hilarious if they were brought him back and be like, yo, Phil Kessel, what's up? Let's run it back. And like, that would have been pretty awesome. But he's a guy. Subban, I mean, I kind of was
I don't
like,
want Subban.
I wasn't saying
I do
push
not
him.
want PK
I
Subban.
do not want Bruce Subban.
I was shocked Subban didn't get moved. I didn't want us to get Subban.
They did say that they weren't renewing his contract at the end
Well,
of
yeah,
the
he's
season, so
not
he's going to
worth
be a
it.
free agent.
He'd be an interesting I mean, if you sign him to decent cap,
God,
he'd be
no.
pretty interesting. He'd
God,
be interesting.
no.
He's
God,
not
no.
terrible. He's not terrible. You
I will
think?
I'd make him
I
pay me to play for my team.
Listen, you think that because his contract, he had not played to that contract
I
level
will
since
leave his
2018.
fan base.
Like,
I do not like him as a player.
I mean, we could sign a fucking Evander Kane because apparently we're
He's a dirty player.
dirty
we were
player.
never in on Evander Kane.
Yes, we
we took
were.
a flyer and they were like, they're interested. And they were like, hey, what would it cost? Nope, not worth it.
Dude, like I feel like that was a guy I was shocked that he moved. I'm surprised the Stars didn't move a goaltender, but they decided to go get another one. Like they need like 10 goaltenders. Are they just going to make a team of goaltenders to face you? I'm actually kind of intimidated if that's what they're doing. Like Braden Holtby, Ottinger, Kudobin, and Wedgwood are just going to stand on the ice, and you're just going to have to try to score on them. That'll be hilarious. Is there actually an NHL rule that says you can't put 2 goaltenders on the ice at the same
I think
time?
there is.
Fuck. The NHL's
I would
stupid.
assume so.
The NHL's stupid.
I hate this sport.
Sport's dumb. The rules are stupid. They're outdated. But yeah.
So,
they didn't
do
get
you have any strong thoughts on either trade, Blake? Obviously, there's a lot of people that are pretty unhappy about the Johansson trade just because he's like 30-something years old now. I think 31, but I could be wrong. And Sprong is a younger guy, but if we're being honest, Sprong wasn't going to work in Laviolette's system. If you're not going to play defense, you have to be putting up good scoring numbers, which obviously he is maintaining.
I wouldn't have traded for Johansson. I would have. I can't think off the top of my head who I would have gone for, but I would not have gone for him. But I also don't think it's the end of the world, and I also think people are massively overreacting. And hey, it's fun to have Mojo back. Like
Yeah,
it's really not that big a deal.
I loved him as a kid.
Yeah,
Bro, let's get Mike Green back. Let's get the whole party together.
He was
Get
at
Alex
the game.
Ovechkin.
He was at the game yesterday. Actually, Mike Green was.
Yeah.
yeah. I wouldn't have traded for Johansson, but it's also not the end of the world. You know, he's not going to win us the cup. He's not going to lose it for us. You know,
And then we got Larson for a third, right? So
I like Larson. I like
do
the
too.
Larson deal.
I do too.
He's a really solid defensive forward. And to get him for, a meaningless third round pick. Like, what the hell is a third round pick?
Braden Point.
That guy is whoever that guy isn't going to see the ice before Ovi retires. And I don't even give a shit about anything that happens after Ovi retires. We're going to be
I
bad.
agree.
I have accepted we're going to be bad after Ovi retires, and that's okay. Just
Doesn't
all I
matter.
care about is the next 5 years.
I agree.
And he's not whoever that guy isn't going to see the ice. So who cares? Get rid of him. The only thing I'm hesitant about is first round picks, but I don't even care about a second round pick.
Yeah.
So give him away like Camdy this offseason, please. I don't want to have a single pick after the first round after this year.
So, obviously, Kuznetsov had a nice shootout goal the other night against Buffalo, a pretty Patrick Kane-esque shootout attempt. You know, he slowed down to almost a halt, but he was moving forward the whole time. So it was a legal goal. Stick handled like 10 times, I think Locker said it was. There were people on Twitter getting butthurt about it.
People
find
Blackburn,
it
fuck
funny.
you, buddy.
I find it funny because, 5 years ago, Patrick Kane does it, and it's one of the best shootout goals of all time. It's a highlight reel goal. And then Kuznetsov does it, and all the Bruins fans are all, there needs to be a rule change. But that's funny. I liked it. Ovi put the nail in the coffin in two shootouts in a row. Love to see that.
When was the last time Ovi scored 2 consecutive shootout attempts?
No idea.
No idea.
Not anytime.
That dude has been not good at shootouts for a long time, and then just all of a sudden he puts away 2 in a row.
It might get loud for a sec.
Live streaming is on.
It's all good. What? Actually, you know what? Fuck it.
Elite shootout goal scorer Ovechkin.
What's everybody's first hockey game? Since we're all here, I said mine. Jake said his. What about you, Blake? What's your first
idea?
So I'll go first when I can really actually remember the game, because I went to a bunch as a little kid, but I have no file on what happened. I was just little there playing with my little plastic Zamboni and the Caps scored, yay. So the first game I can actually really remember was Ovechkin's first game. Which is
lucky son of a bitch.
Yeah. Because back then the Caps sucked, so you could get we got lower bowl tickets for I don't know how much, but it was super cheap back then. You could get upper bowl tickets for $5. So it was super easy to go, and we're hey, the new kid's gonna be here. Let's go be in the lower bowl. It's been a year since there was hockey on.
Let's go see this maybe okay player play.
I wonder if this guy's gonna end up being.
What if he's gonna be any good?
Where's he at now? Does anybody know?
What is it?
I actually went to the game. I think it was against the Coyotes. No, Senators, where Ovi got his 500th goal. I was in the.
Oh shit!
I was in the nosebleeds. I got the goal on camera on my Android, but that
find it.
That phone is I can't get into it. I don't think. I
could figure it out.
You try to find it and get the SD card maybe or something.
Do the best
you probably get the SD card out of it.
Take it to a store and tell them to
card
fix
out of
it.
Yeah, but I did get that on video, and that was a nice time for young me.
The only Caps games I've been to have been Caps Sabres games.
Hell yeah.
And they've won every one I've been to.
Hell yeah. So, did they play the Sabres again? No. Fuck. All right. Well,
they don't play them at home. No.
Fuck. That's not fair.
I went to a Caps Sabres game in 2007, and that was
was that the old slug? The slug
the
Sabres
Buffalo
jerseys?
Slug.
Hate those.
And that was the last year Buffalo was good at anything.
They made the playoffs that year, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was the last time they made the playoffs.
Last game of the season, and we were already eliminated, and they were already in. So they just took over the stadium and made me miserable.
And when Buffalo sports are good, they travel. Those
people
fans,
forget. Yeah, people forget they fucking travel when they're good.
Yeah.
If they're bad,
even when they're bad, Caps Sabres games. There's always a good amount of Sabres fans.
No, same thing with what's it called? The Canadians, bro. They were Canadian. I went to 2 Canadians games the year of the fucking COVID thing, and both the games there was
Canadians games for
Capitals Canadians games.
Oh.
And they were Canadians fans all over the place. They were I was sitting next to one. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man.
You know, my favorite game to play at any sporting event is Spot the Flyers fan. It doesn't matter what sport it is or who's playing. You can always find a Flyers fan.
Always, you can do that with Red Sox hats. Boston Red Sox hats is always a Red Sox.
They're always there.
I have mine somewhere. I remember the hats somewhere in here.
Yeah, I think that it's pretty. I just want to go. I'm going to their game in the 12th.
Did you guys know that we only play? We play tomorrow, and then we don't play till Sunday.
Yeah, because we got to start because we're at 68 games after tomorrow, and everybody's got to catch up. And then the month resets basically, and everybody has 14 left. Once we next month.
Let's make some predictions for those next 2 games, and then I think that's everything.
Honestly.
Who do we play?
So
the Hurricanes.
Yeah, so tomorrow we play the Hurricanes for what feels like the 10th time in the last week. So we play them tomorrow night, and then. Or if you're watching this on Monday, it's tonight. But if you're watching this Right now,
difference.
it is tomorrow.
Yeah.
But on Monday, we play the Canes. Then we don't play again until the next coming Sunday. We play at home against the Wild. Both of those games are at home. So 2 tough opponents this week, the Canes and the Wild. Everybody, what do you see?
I'll weigh in for. I think we win both. I think because we've had a great month. I always said month of March too. Month of March.
It's a tongue twister.
It
Month
is.
of March. Month of
Yeah.
March.
We've just been playing very strong, and I feel like
Y'all
we
just
still
hungry.
have the momentum to beat those teams. I know we lost against the Blues, but whatever. We lost 2 straight, and then we won 2 in a row. So it doesn't. I don't think that cancels out. But I think we win both those games. I think we beat the Hurricanes in overtime, and then win in regulation against the Wild.
Blake, what do you think?
Because I think the game against the Hurricanes is going to be packed and loud. So I think it's going to be.
It is at
I'm gonna
home.
be off. I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna watch the whole thing tomorrow. I'm sorry in advance. We're probably gonna lose now.
Don't watch it.
I'll be at practice, so I won't be watching.
Yeah,
He's gonna be
watch it.
grinding that lacrosse.
I was actually going to say basically the same thing. I think we're going to win in overtime against the Hurricanes. It's going to be a nail biter, but I think we're going to pull it out, and then the Wild we're going to beat no problem.
Mm-hmm.
The Hurricanes are on the first of a back-to-back, so we probably will be seeing who's their backup again?
I don't know.
Oh, great,
Who
good talk.
fucking knows?
Who fucking know? We're supposed to know this. Ranta. We might
I'm
see
supposed to know
Ranta.
who the Carolina Hurricanes backup goalie is.
Yeah.
Ranta and
Pretty good
it's not
in-
hard to know backups. Like Jesus, Ronta's
Yeah,
a pretty.
it is. I barely know our backup.
Fucking
It
Sam
changes
Soto.
every other
Don't be
week.
mean.
It changes every week. So
Yeah.
that's fair.
Every other week. They started Leon and LaFonte as goalies too. LaFonte, oh shit, he probably never started.
Yeah, so I'm different than you guys. I think we're gonna lose tomorrow. I just think it's too good to be true to beat the Hurricanes 3 times in a row. I don't see that
4.
happening. Would it be 4? Yeah, I don't. That's not happening.
Series.
So we're gonna lose tomorrow. I think we'll beat the Wild because we won't lose 2 straight. So that's my take.
I'm like floating between y'all. First, I think we're gonna beat the Hurricanes. I think we're smoking red hot. Like we're probably gonna get Dowd back tomorrow, which is gonna make the depth even better. There's a good chance maybe even TMVR might slot back in. Which please God, please just come back. I don't want to deal with Kempney again. I don't want to see Sebastian Aho like staring down Michael Kempney anymore. It's like in my nightmares. And I think it's going to be very close. I don't think it'll go overtime, but I think we win just because it's going to be an emotional. It's the final game in like a week, and it's going to be crazy against the Wild. Against the Wild, that's going to be tough because that's going to be like 6 days between games, and we don't usually.
That could either be a really good thing or a really bad thing. That it's 6
for us. It's always
It's going to be good in the long run, but it could actually hurt us for that game.
Mhm.
But like I think in the grand scheme of letting Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, Backstrom, Johansson, Dowd, TVR,
Everybody
letting
rest.
all those guys rest and heal up. In that sense, it's going to be good, but it could hurt us for Sunday specifically. But like, who cares? It's a Wild.
I feel like it's going to be fun to see Krill the throw Kaprizov in DC. That'll be awesome. I'm going to actually try to get tickets to the game because I want to go watch him. And I
What's
think
it like being at home?
it's fun.
Games.
I think, it's tough because I think if everybody's healthy at that point, which they'll most likely be, we'll most likely see TVR come back at least at that game. I will say Capitals will win 4-3. Krill, Kaprizov, and Ovechkin matching hat tricks because I want to be fun.
Do it.
Hell yeah.
They do a jersey swap.
They do a jersey swap.
That would be my
Passing of
wallpaper.
the torch.
I'd make that my wallpaper.
That's pretty good.
So
prediction.
sick.
All right.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're about to approach the hellish start to April, by the way. So, you know how we all have been, like, putting it off? Yeah, so the next 5 games, actually, is Hurricanes, Wild, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, and Boston.
All wins. All W's. Don't give
5 in a
a
row.
shit. All wins. Who says no? We should not. We're
I
gonna
think
win.
one of
all
those 5 teams at least will say no.
I don't,
I think-
Joey.
that is going to be like, I think tomorrow we definitely have to win. Like, we're going to need that win because going up against those 4 teams in a row is going to be a fucking nightmare because we have to go to Pittsburgh and we have to go to Tampa Bay. And we haven't played Tampa Bay since the beginning of the season, which is like crazy. It's like that was the second game of the season, and we lost in overtime, which we played well. So, I mean, hopefully Tampa Bay's been kind of mid recently, but Pittsburgh today decided to beat up a bunch of children in an alleyway in Pittsburgh, 11-2. So,
Hey, but Jacob Vrana scored.
take your victories.
I think that's everything, right?
I hope that's
I think
everything.
so.
Yeah. All right.
Manscaped.
Well, Blake,
Wait, hold on. One more thing. The Ovechkin goals tracker. I want to hear the good word of God. The Ovechkin goal tracker. What
he
are we
said it's
looking
like 60% of 50.
It's a 50.
Hold on.
I
I'll pull it up.
You got to add like a goal to the expected for, the PHP episode. Good mojo.
No, if we do that, then he's gonna not score for a month, and we're fucked.
Man.
Yeah. So he's currently on pace for between 49 and 50 goals. He's at 49.7 goals, so round up to 50. And then 99% chance of a 45 goal season, so that's basically guaranteed. He'll extend his record there. 60% chance of a 50 goal season, so we're borderline, but it's feeling good about it.
15 games for how many goals? 8.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like that's incredibly reasonable.
We have 5. We have 5 tough games coming up. I sense 10 goals.
And then
Ovechkin, I'm in your
55
walls.
goal season is only an 8% chance, so that's a bit out there. But so you're saying there's a chance?
Is there still a chance for a 60 goal season?
Hang on,
Tell me you have that pulled up. Come on. Tell me you haven't been like, you know what? Maybe I should kind of put this predictor up there. Maybe.
0.02% chance. So less than
We got a 60 goal season. Let's go.
60
I'm taking
goal
it.
season.
Taking the odds. That's profit. Let's go.
Look, fucking what's his name? Sean. Who's the asshole who said he was like washed up this year?
Yeah.
John Scott. Yeah, the
Yeah.
dude who made an
John
all-star
Scott.
game that, as a joke, thought he was washed up and he went to put up his best season since before the pandemic. So congratulations, John Scott. You woke up an animal that will now terrorize everything.
John Scott.
All right,
I'm in
EA,
your
take
walls.
us out, buddy.
Caps legend John Scott.
Caps legend.
He's the reason that Ovi's gonna get 50 goals.
I want him to say that he'll never score again. Please, just keep saying it.
He won't break the record.
Yeah, Ovi's a piece of shit now. He's not winning. He's not breaking the record. He just wakes up and drops however many goals he needs to get it in one game. It's just like, what did you say? All right, so episode title, So There's a Chance. All right, well, Blake, thanks for coming on again. Happy to
thanks for
have
having
you.
me.
Yeah, of course. You're always welcome. Go follow Blake on Twitter. I'm not gonna read that out. You can find him. He's in the tags for the posts. But yeah, thanks for listening. We need to do a Manscaped read. I forgot about that.
Manscaped, and then we go home.
We're gonna do that.
Wild just beat the Avs in OT.
Yeah, and you guys are
By the way.
shitting on them. That's why.
We're not
All right.
shitting on the Wild. We love the
Let's shit
Wild.
on 'em.
You all were like, oh yeah, we're gonna.
I said we're gonna beat them. That's not.
I said
shitting
it was
on them.
going to be a game where
Blake was
Ovechkin-
like, oh, that's gonna be easy. We got the Wild.
Oh,
I said
I
it was
didn't
going to be a
say
game where they
I
get
just said we're gonna
Dueling
beat
hat tricks for Kaprizov and Ovechkin.
that. All right.
Anyways, today
Let's go.
I'm excited to announce that Manscaped has launched their Ultra Premium Collection. Believe it or not, it's for your not so private parts. I'm talking about a leveled up hygiene routine with your favorite manly scent. This is an all-in-one skin and hair care kit for the everyday man and covers you from head to toe, literally. Manscaped is trusted below the waist. Now it's time to trust them with the rest. Join the 4 million men worldwide, including us, who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the code PHP. Again, if you use code PHP at manscaped.com, you'll get 20% off your order plus free shipping anywhere. Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate all of you. Have a good night. Go Caps.
Woo!
Guys, Coyotes Jets are tied with 5 minutes remaining.